Hey everyone, Healing Arts Podcast with Iyanu Kwande, Iyanulu Kwande. I'm here today to talk about a very important topic that might lead to other topics if God wills, and that's every response is not your answer. Every sign is not your answer. That you got a response, that you don't get a response, does not mean that your request is not processed. So every answer is not your answer. Come with me. So I'll be sharing a backstory, which I hope is a short one that I can say within short time. I will be intertwining the processes and all. So after I exited from a major relationship that I had, and about the time where we were still back and forth in maybe we will be back together or not, I met this guy. We got connected on Facebook, started chatting me up, and it was intense in his chatting. That's one of the red flags. It may not be really a red flag, but at least time will tell. So it was intense in his chatting, intense in his caring, at least talking to me all the time of the day. Even when he was at work, it looked as if he was not even going to work, or he didn't have anything to do than just chatting me up. That was the way it seemed in retrospect. So at the point of trying to get him to meet for the first time, an instinct just came upon me to ask about his age. That's not even the criteria, but I followed my instinct and asked, and I got to know that he was 3 years younger. I sent his picture, I sent my picture, we went back and forth, and we had to connect on WhatsApp. That was became that we actually had to enter into our space, because once you get someone's WhatsApp number or more, that's about entering into spaces of each other, and we got talking again and again and again. And at that point I went to the mountain, a particular mountain, to pray, and at some point I was at the verge of telling the person I went with about this new guy disturbing me, being intense. Like, this intensity is too much, and it seemed that it increased during the period I was on the prayer ground, and it felt like wow, God had answered. Because I've heard different stories of different people in that light. When they went to the mountain, this guy called, this guy thing happened, they met someone there, blah blah blah. And some had issues with their marriage, some don't. Of course, whether it's the will of God or not, they still have issues. So that's not even the point. But the point is, it happened like that to that. It was intense. I could not tell him I was on the prayer ground. I just stayed low. If I could not pick his call, I'll pick it when I could, and I was giving him the attention at every point in time. But the reason why I was not even eager to tell the person I went with was that the person was still trying to persuade me to go back to my ex, even after telling him how the terrible things that I witnessed in that relationship. And it looked like as if maybe somebody was persuading them, and they wanted to get that desperation of maybe my father off their neck. Let us just get married down so that our father will not be disturbing us. That was where I felt, honestly, because there was no justification for me to be that desperate to go back to my ex. If not for, I don't know, but that's that. So fast forward to when we now saw for the first time, we even had issues going back and forth on how to meet, on where to meet. He was bent on me coming to his place. He said it with boldness and audacity. I should come to his place. So. I was like, I'm not even sure what to look like on Facebook or WhatsApp is what to really look like. I don't know you, and you're actually making it look like an order for me to meet you for the first time in your place. That's of course, because I had just been coming out brutally from just a relationship job. My head was correct that time. At least I could have boundaries. I could stand on my points. I could stand my ground on some things and how. So I said never, I'm not going to do that with you. And I had to choose a place where I knew was close to where I had some relatives and relations I could call on if there was trouble. So he agreed. In the long run, he came, we met, we saw, and he was looking for a place for us to sit. I've been there before, Abasakula Eatery Arena. Is a place that has different sections. So we were climbing steps up and down looking for where to sit, and it just dawned on me in retrospect that he was looking for a place where he would not actually pay anything for us to stay for our conversation period. It was so embarrassing. At the point he had to go to a place that looked like a shawarma spot in that same eatery arena. And the guy, after some 2 minutes, the guy that was in charge of the shawarma arena called us to him. Unfortunately for us, we were facing the guy. The guy had in the Koboku selling stuff. Oh, guy, what do you want to order? He said, I'm coming. He kept posting him. At some point, the guy was embarrassing my partner that we went together. We're not buying anything. You can't sit here. It's not allowed, please. You have to order something no matter how little it is. That's the rule here. I think the guy was just that shawarma guy was just trying to send a signal to me that this person is nonsense person. I don't. Anyway, so and after the disturbance, could not even talk about anything too much. And did he even see me off to that extent? I don't know. But that was the last day I saw him. That was the last day we communicated. That was the last day to get. And in contrast to how it happened on the mountain, though we have been talking before that mountain incident, and just felt like that intensity was somehow contrast to what happened after the meeting. I was wondering, was it that I had problem? Why me? Why this? Why that? Anyway, people that are going through some kind of delay as defined by the world standard in quotes, you might not really know what they've tried to get out of that method, to get out of that set standard by the world. You don't know how much they've invested in trying to get themselves together. So it won't be funny in getting themselves together rather. So it won't be funny for you to be thinking that they are not serious. It might not be so good. Having almost dipped in this kind of thing, trying to get some things done in one way or the other, and they just move on. On the long run, that was the last time we saw. Like I said, some months back, like very, very few months after, he started me up again on Facebook, and he said he wanted to buy lapels. But then I saw the lapels, all these fashion, pin, flowery face, top. The top part is always flowery and different designs anyway that you put on your suit. You can hang on your suit, on your corporate residences and all. So he said he wanted to buy, and I said, okay, wow, thank you. Even though you have decided not to talk to me again, it's fine. After our first meeting, imagine. It made me feel somehow, but I thank God I didn't budge him. So he was trying to bargain a stupid bargain for the prices, and I told him. He said he was buying 10. So even if we are buying 1,000, the price is still the price. Please, now that you know that you can come back, have we ended it there, and a few days or maybe a few weeks after, then I saw a ministry on the Facebook platform celebrating him marrying a major daughter of a major minister in the ministry. I don't want to say more than that. And it head went bang, 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 bang. Come, this person. Just like 4-5 months after. Was it a sudden marriage? Was it? I went back down the lane through his profile. I went down memory lane through his wife's profile and the ministry's profile and their past programs and their past camp meetings. just to be sure that this was not a sudden relationship, and I get to know that they've been in it for years. And it dawned on me that that guy was just testing his toasting prowess. He just wanted to see. Maybe that was my thought. That's my excuse for me for letting it go anyway. Maybe he was just trying to see if he was still in town to get before marriage and all. And it didn't stop there. I confronted him on Facebook inbox. I said, so actually, the lapel was meant to be for him and his groomsmen. That crazy. And I said, so actually it was even your wedding. You were actually getting wedded and you were trying those kind of nonsense with me. What if I had bulged and what if I had accepted? And so I would have been thinking that I have another failed relationship, not knowing that I was the one giving it time in order to determine if it was the right one or not. So I said that, paraphrased, I just said that, and he said, what do you mean? And he blocked me on Facebook. Funny enough, some maybe hours or days later, he posted on his wall that a wife should not check his wife's phone, that it is not sensible, it is not. He pattered his belief, he made it point blank on in that post, and I was sorry for the wife. The funny thing is, I knew the wife, and we went to the same one of the institutions, and it looked like the lady thought, but thinking that I married a godly, faithful, whatever husband, not knowing that another animal in human skin. A pity. So sorry about that language, but that was the way it felt. And watching Yoruba films back in those days, it looked like when maybe an old jilted girlfriend comes to a wedding to disrupt the wedding. It went as far as almost wanting to message that lady, honestly. But I felt she just got wedded. She's high. I can't even imagine her face as I'm talking. It is still vivid. I can remember. I can picture the guy's face now and the lady's face now as I'm talking. That shows that we can never forget everything in that sense of it. Honestly, is that graphic? I'm saying the guy's face and the lady's face, and it's amazing how the lady will be thinking, what if she ends up knowing? I almost messaged that doesn't really marry the animal. Not they too happy, and not they too disappointed if anything like that happens. But I felt we are meant to see more than we say. We should learn to listen more, observe more, and yet talk less. So it is well with her, and that's just it. So what if I had bulging? What if I had, and thinking that because I was on a prayer mountain, the incense comment that I should have answered now. I don't answer the names I am playing with God's miracles and all. It could mean different things to us, and there's a way God speaks to us. We are the ones that are not listening or sensitive to what God is saying. We should learn to calm down. The Bible, even Paul that said this in the Gospels, that when anyone brings any other gospel apart from the one that we have brought, even if it is me that brings it, cost with the person. Anyone who doesn't want to try or check or confirm or weigh what they have said, hook, line and sinker, is a manipulator. Watch it. So please learn to guard your heart. Not every response at the nick of time is a sign. It's like in those days when my daddy and my family were praying, and maybe there was no light by the time we started praying, and when we are about finishing or something, the light comes. It's a people way of thinking that is a sign that God has answered our prayers. What's in those countries that they don't have some fundamental crisis that the government has been responsible enough to provide for them? What would they be using as their own sign to answer prayers? It shows that it takes really faith to know God in countries where their government is responsible. It shows that faith is more than the irresponsible nature of one's government in a particular country. God is more than that. If we see answers, fine. If you don't see answers, I think answers is not always positive. Answers are not always what we expect. They come in different ways. We should know that they come in different ways. And that you are God's best friend does not mean that she can attend to you immediately. Jesus Christ was told that Lazarus was sick. It did not come immediately. It has said Lazarus was still his best friends apart from the disciples. Even though he was not with him when he was transfigured on the month of transfiguration, even though they don't go together for every evangelism like the 3 Paul, James and John used to do with him. But in a way, it was clearly in fact that Lazarus was his best friend, if not one of his best friends. At least it was close. And he was told that Lazarus, your friend, is sick. Till he died, he did not go. In fact, after his death, he still stayed 4 extra days. That the fact that somebody is your best friend does not mean that they should have the answers, that they should always have answers. We are quick to judge that because somebody was not there for us at some point in time. We tend to classify them as they are not caring, that they are not no more your friend. We misinterpret so many things a lot. We even hear people generally saying that God does not make mistakes. Who told you that God, that be perfect as I am perfect, be ye holy as I am holy? Does not mean that holy and perfect is not subjective. Study how God created heaven and earth. Study how He reacted to man's mistakes. You will know that the holiness and perfect that God was referring to is subjective. Before I break some people's head again and bring up unnecessary, probably sometime later we'll talk about that. But my point here today is that you are praying and something came up as a sign does not mean that is the answer. Ezekiel? There was whirlwind, there was storm, there was wind, there was noise, and then came still voice. If you jump at the first sign, you will always be missing it. I hope I've been able to say something about the fact that every answer is not your answer. And God help us. Thank you.